Hello my darlings, I hope you're doing very well. In today's video I'm going to be talking about a newish tattoo that I got a couple of weeks ago. I just want to say very quickly, I'm so sorry for being absent for 2+ weeks. In case you didn't see on my social media posts, and I did put out one of those community tab posts as well. I think you only see them when you're on like your phone or something, I don't know. Anyway, unfortunately, after dodging it for 2+ years, got COVID. Oh man, that was an experience. I'll talk more about it later on. I'm sure most of you guys are just here to hear about the tattoo and not my COVID experience. As you may have seen, if you follow me maybe on Instagram or wherever, I don't know, I went to the Bristol Tattoo Convention a couple of weekends ago. That's where I caught COVID, I'm pretty sure of it. I got tattooed by one of my favourite tattoo artists. I've mentioned him a lot in my videos. He specialises in palm tattoos, and that is Luke Ashley. I've always said if I was to ever get my palm tattooed, it would be by Luke, because he pretty much like specializes in it. He does it a lot, and he's very transparent about how palm tattoos heal. Before anyone starts keyboard worrying, saying, oh my god, that's not gonna last, palm tattoos fade, I'm very much aware of how a palm tattoo heals, mainly because of Luke, because he always posts healed tattoos. He's very transparent, and that's why I always wanted to get tattooed by Luke if I was gonna get my palm tattooed, just because, yeah, my favourite thing about tattoo artists are transparency and just being honest about it, because we all know palm tattoos don't hold up the best. We all know they're a pain in the arse to heal, but he's very open about it and honest about it and what have you. So, you know, I wasn't going to go to any old artist that's just like, yeah, palm tattoos are perfect, they heal perfectly, they always look amazing once they're healed. And Luke's palm tattoos do look freaking amazing. He knows what he's doing, but of course, you know, he can't help the way a tattoo heals, and he's very transparent about that. Yeah, I've always wanted to get my palm tattooed by Luke, and every now and then I would check on his Instagram profile to see if his books were open, but they were always closed, so I've never really had the opportunity to get tattooed by Luke, to be honest with you. Like when I first started thinking about getting my palm tattooed, I think that was like two-ish years, because me and my friend Carmi, who I went to the Bristol Tattoo Convention with, have always like, you know, talked about getting our palms tattooed by Luke, and we were going to actually go and do it together at one point, but we never went through with it. So it's been one of those things that have been in the works for a couple of years now. If my voice sounds a bit weird, I do apologise. Again, recovering from COVID. I feel like my voice sounds tired, but then again, it might just be in my head. I don't know. So yeah, I went to the Bristol Tattoo Convention. I can't remember what day it was, to be honest with you. Let me have a look at my calendar, because my memory is terrible. Oh my god, it was that long ago. So we went on the 9th of July, and I saw that Luke was there and he was doing walk-ups, and I was like, if I can get the opportunity to get tattooed by Luke at the Bristol Tattoo Convention, that would be freaking amazing. Like, that would be just the perfect day, in my opinion. So me and Tom made the journey to Bristol on the 9th, and we met Carmi in a car park. He brought his partner Dan with him, but Dan was doing something else in Bristol, so it was just me, Carmi and Tom. A nice little threesome there. And I think we got there just after, I think it was about 12:30, 1 o'clock, and we had a good old walk around. We were looking at everything, but oh my gosh, I'm just saying right here, right now, I am never going to a convention in summer ever again. Okay, it was so freaking hot. I was sweating so much. So yeah, I'm definitely gonna avoid tattoo conventions in heat, because I just don't like that hot, sticky. And I was wearing jeans. Why did I think it was a good idea to wear jeans on one of like the hottest days? Who thought that was a good idea? I'm so stupid. But yeah, we were walking around for a bit and just looking at what was happening and what have you. And I had in the mind, because I told Tom, I was like, if I see Luke and he's got space, I think I might get my palm tattooed. And we couldn't find him at first. It was like, we did a quick like walk around and I couldn't find his booth or whatever. And then we saw Paula Castle, who is a tattoo artist I've been tattooed by and getting tattooed by again at the end of August, which is so exciting. And we had a good old natter with her. She's so sweet, she's so lovely. And we also talked to Christina, who was in the same booth, who is the shop manager of Black Sheep, which is Paula Castle's studio. So that was really nice to have a good old natter. And then we were walking back through one of the areas, because the tattoo convention was split into 2 rooms kind of thing. So you had the middle bit where there was like food and where you come in, like the entrance, and then there was one room that had loads of tattoo artists doing their thing, and then there was another room with loads of tattoo artists doing their thing. So we were kind of standing in the middle and we were waiting for Kami because he was talking to a tattoo artist he had been tattooed by. And then Luke walked past me and I recognised it because I follow him on Instagram. And then he come up and said hi to me. I was like, oh my God, he recognises me. He knows who I am. But I think he is aware that I've spoke about him in a couple of my videos, and I've spoke to him a couple of times on Instagram because I've shared his work and what have you. I don't know. Anyway, so he said hi and I was like, oh my God, hi. And I was like, do you have any space? Like, I was right in there. I was like, do you have any space for today? And he was like, yeah, of course, come on over. My booth is, I can't remember the number of the booth. And I was like, awesome, cool, I'll come and say hi in a bit. So that made me be like, okay, so I know where he is. And he's saying he's got walk-up, so maybe this is possible. Maybe this can happen today. And I'd already seen the flash that he was doing for the convention because he put that on Instagram, and there was 2 that I really liked. There was the one that I got, obviously, and then there was a sun, because I was thinking, do I do a sun on this palm and then do a moon later on this palm, or do I get the design that I really like and think about whatever for this hand at another later date? I have got like cream and stuff on this at the moment, that's why it's super shiny, and the light is glaring it out, but it's not faded, I promise. So obviously I went with this one because this was my ultimate favourite. I thought, let's go for something that I know I like and that is completely my aesthetic, which is the skull with the thorn crown. So after walking around the convention for a while thinking about it, and Kami was buying jewellery and we were eating some food and we were trying to cool down, we eventually come across Luke's booth, and I was looking at the flash sheets and what have you. And I was like, yeah, I'm going to go for this. If I can get this done, I'm going to go for this, and I'm going to go for the skull one because that is my ultimate favourite. And I was like, Luke, is there any chance I can get tattooed? God, I'm so sorry. I am COVID-free, by the way. I have tested negative. And he was like, yeah, that's cool. I've got someone coming soon. So if you come back in about an hour or so, and then, you know, you're next kind of thing. I was just like, oh my gosh. And this is when the nerves kicked in because I knew it was going to suck, okay? I knew it was going to hurt. So I started getting nervous. I don't normally get nervous for tattoos now just because I know what to expect. I know what's coming up. I've been tattooed enough. So yeah, there's no point of me working myself up or whatever, but I was getting so nervous. So we walked around for another hour or so, yada, yada, yada. Eventually, it was my time to be tattooed, and oh my gosh, the anxiety was high. So Luke had a pre-made stencil, which was far too big for my little hands. I surprisingly have very small hands. I don't know if it looks like that, but my hands are very, very small. So he had to do a couple of stencils to get one to fit my little tiny hands. So he put the stencil on, you know how it goes. He put the stencil on and it was like, right, okay, is that good for you? Is it okay that it's on your little like pinky finger there? Is it okay if it's all over there? And I was like, yeah, absolutely. Like if it gets any smaller, it's not going to be readable. You know, well, it would have been, but I really don't mind that it's up on my finger or anything. It could have gone over the whole hand. I don't mind. So once the stencil was on, it was pretty much time to get to tattooing. Luckily, there was Annie there, who is the co-owner of Luke Ashley's studio. Like, they own it together or what have you. And she was talking to me here and there, which is amazing. She was so sweet and lovely. Like, she really helped. But yeah, once it got to the time of tattooing, oh my gosh. So I've always said that my neck tattoo has been my most painful tattoo just because it took like 7 hours and it's over a huge part of like my neck and my collarbone and chest area and shoulder area. Like, it's a big tattoo and I went through a lot with that tattoo. I would go through that again happily in comparison to this. Okay, this has got nothing to do with Luke. He was very kind. He always checked in on me, making sure I was okay. And I'm sure he was as gentle as he most possibly could be. But fuck me. No. Okay, I love this with my whole heart. Okay, I'm very happy with it. But the pain was insane. I have never felt anything like this, ever. This is the most painful thing I've ever gone through. I don't mean to scare anyone that's, you know, in the mood for a palm tattoo or whatever. Oh my God, like, there are no words. It's as bad as you think it is, times 10. Because I kind of had a rough idea of how bad it would hurt. I was so wrong. It was worse. You know when you fall over as a kid and you like stop yourself on the pavement with your hands and you graze your palm and your hand a little bit? All right, it's like that, but worse. It's like someone has got a knife and they are just stabbing your palm and then dragging the knife like that. I saw Jesus and Satan 50 times just in the first line. He started in this sort of area here. Yo, I wanted to die. Death would have been easier than going through this, okay? I don't recommend it. I'm normally like, you know what, you do you, pain is temporary. No, you have to be in the right mind frame to go through this. Trust me, I wanted to tap out 2 minutes into it. I obviously didn't because I was like, this is, you know, one of the only opportunities I'm going to get to be tattooed by Luke. I'm not going to, you know, half-ass this. I always say, if you're in pain and you need to tap out, you've got to tap out. But I knew I could not tap out. It was awful. My friend Kami filmed some footage of me going through it, bless him. Well, just enjoy this, okay? If you don't like me and you want to see me in pain, here's your chance, all right? So yeah, as you can see, I was not having a good time. Luckily, Luke is very, very quick when it comes to tattooing. I'm not sure how long it took because, again, I was in another world. I was not paying attention to anything other than the burning flames of fire that was going on in my palm. But I want to say it took maybe just over half an hour, maybe. I'm not entirely sure because I didn't look at the time when he started. I didn't look at the time when I was finished. So I was just in a whole other world. But I don't think it was that long. The only saving grace is once he started, after about 2-3 seconds, the pain sort of subsided a little bit. But because there is so much fiddly line work on there, there was not much relief. Only a few times I managed to sort of, I don't know whether it's because I was getting used to the pain or I managed to sort of meditate my way out of it and just completely zone out the pain. But the first initial few seconds of line work were awful, and yeah, as you can see, there's a lot of line work there, a lot of fiddliness. So yeah, there was not much respite, unfortunately. The most painful bit, surprisingly, was this bit up here in this area, and then in this area, and then down here. The middle bit was surprisingly not that bad. I thought that would be the most painful bit because that would have been the most sensitive bit, because the skin there is extremely thin in comparison to up here, because obviously when you're grabbing stuff all the time, the top of your hand is, you know, it's just a bit tougher there. So I thought this would be a lot worse because it's so thin, but it wasn't that bad. I mean, it was terrible, but in comparison to like up here and down here, this bit wasn't as bad. And this is going to sound so silly, and maybe hopefully one of you can relate to this, but I'm so proud that I managed to get myself through that, because like I was saying, I wanted to tap out. I was so over it, you know, 2 seconds into when he started, but getting myself through that, I don't know, I just felt so freaking proud of myself because it was not easy. It was a constant mental battle. I think maybe not even the pain's the worst, it's what it does to your brain, because your brain goes into fight or flight mode, and I wanted to fly. I wanted to get the hell out of there. I was like, no, this is not good for me. So I'm so proud of myself for sitting through that. And obviously, you know, I don't know, it sounds so silly. Like I was saying, Luke was so lovely to be tattooed by. He was so friendly and chatty and, you know, asking questions and making sure I was okay. We're just having a good old conversation. And bless him, he was interacting with my boyfriend Tom and Carmi, who was waiting at the side of the booth. He was like, "You guys okay? How are you doing?" And I'm just sitting there with my palm on fire, like, hello. He was like, "Yeah, okay, cool. I'm glad, because, you know, you guys are going through a lot right now." And I'm just like, hello. I know it was all a joke and stuff. So once it was done, he sort of put the magic tattoo foam on me and did the whole wipe down. Me and Luke went outside and he took some photos. I then, of course, paid Luke. I'm always transparent about price because people ask, so I may as well, you know, say it how it is. But the price was $300, which in my opinion is a good price for someone that is, you know, that specialises in palm tattoos. You know, people travel all over the world to get tattooed by Luke, so I was like, that's fine with me. And I tipped him £20 as well. And then he was like, "Oh, can I just give you a t-shirt or something?" So he gave me this hella cool t-shirt. It's got a design on the back. I've got to say, once we had taken photos, he wrapped me up in this sort of bandage plaster thing just to keep the tattoo, you know, clean, to stop it from touching things and what have you. And then I was on my merry little way. The pain afterwards, it subsided a lot. It wasn't too painful. I mean, it was, but it wasn't. It kind of just felt like I had fallen over and grazed my hand very, very badly. It felt very stingy. After that, we went back to our hotel because me and Tom got a room, and then Carmi and Dan, his partner, had a room also. And yeah, that was pretty much it. And we just hung out, and then, yeah, I won't bore you with that story because nobody cares about that. But I had a great time at the Bristol Tattoo Convention, minus the heat. As for healing, so the next day when I woke up, it was just stingy, but it didn't hurt too badly. And I was expecting to have major blood rush. If you don't know what blood rush is, it's basically when you've been tattooed and then the next day you wake up and you get up, and then, you know, if you've got a tattoo on like your lower arm or your lower leg, you can feel like the blood just rush in your body part and it hurts so bad. I was expecting that for this. I had none of that. And I think after like the second day, it was so easy. Like, it didn't hurt at all. So obviously now I'm on just over 2 weeks of having this. And healing, again, has been pretty easy. The less you do with it, the better. The minimal getting it wet and, you know, minimal aftercare and all of that, because it's completely different to healing any other tattoo. I do have an aftercare sheet from Luke, which I have followed. But he basically says the healing process of a palm tattoo is pretty straightforward. After the tattoo is finished, I will place a small amount of cream on the palm and then place a large plaster over the top, which will cover the entire area that's been tattooed, which he did. This is to allow the tattoo to settle on your journey home from the studio, and so that nothing touches it and could cause an infection. Once you return home, you can remove the wrapping and wash your tattoo gently with warm water. Pat it dry with a clean paper towel and leave it to air, which I did the hotel and stuff. The first 4 days are the most important for your palm tattoo to heal. During these 4 days, keep the tattoo clean by washing it gently with warm water and perfume-free soap, patting dry with a clean paper towel, and apply a small amount of cream. I recommend cocoa butter 2 to 3 times a day. Do not saturate your tattoo with cream, but apply just enough so that it isn't completely drying out. Try your best to keep movement to a minimum if possible. This includes holding bags and using gym equipment, which is fine. I did not hold no bag because 2 days after getting this palm tattoo, I started to feel unwell. So I wasn't doing much of anything. That's pretty much it. It says sweat is not good for your palm tattoo. Again, I got tattooed probably in the worst time because we were having some major heat. But again, like I said, as soon as I got home on the Sunday, me and Tom did nothing, and then on the Monday I started to feel pretty unwell, so I wasn't doing anything to make me sweat. It says that you shouldn't work out or use gym equipment until your tattoo is fully healed, obviously, because, you know, if you're lifting weights or whatever, that's a lot of friction on your hand. Something that can happen during the palm healing process is blowouts. They're not like blowouts on other tattoos. These blowouts are watery looking and can appear the day after or a few days after the tattoo is done. These blowouts can sometimes stay for the whole healing process, which is 6 weeks or longer, but they will eventually disappear. I don't think I have any. No, it doesn't look like it. After 2 weeks, your tattoo will start to scab and the black line work will shed. Please do not pick the scabs or pull them off. They need to shed on their own and not be rushed. This is a long healing process. After around 4 weeks, the scabs should have all come off, and you will just have another 2 weeks or so of healing left to allow the palm tattoo to settle in completely. What you are left with after 6 weeks is what will stay with you forever. So yeah, I'm only on week 2. I've got another 4 weeks of healing. Mine actually scabbed up pretty quickly. And some of the scabs have already come off in places, but I can still feel some roughness here and there. But yeah, I kept my hand usage to an absolute minimum. Again, like I was saying, after 2 days of having this, I started to feel unwell with COVID, and I spent up until Saturday, just gone, doing literally nothing because I didn't feel well enough to do anything. I was in isolation in mine and Tom's room for that amount of time, and I didn't do anything. I think the only thing I might have picked up is a remote. I thought I would do a close-up video to show you guys how it's healing at the moment. So like I was saying, I'm just over 2 weeks now. As you can see, some bits are darker than others, but that's because where it's darker is where the scabs are. And then anywhere that's light is where a scab has fallen off pretty much. So it's healing pretty well so far. I mean, it is only 2 weeks in, but so far, so good. I think it's healing pretty well. But yeah, I'm so happy that I had done this. I'm so proud of myself for getting through this. Like, if you can get through a palm tattoo, then you can literally get through anything. Trust me. Oh my God, let me tell you, this has itchy phases, but for a short amount of time. And they are no joke. This is the itchiest tattoo I've ever had in my whole entire life. But it doesn't last for long. So I'll have an itchy sort of half an hour where my palm just gets extremely itchy. And I'm like, oh my God. And I obviously can't do anything about it. So I'm just like waving it around in the air in hopes that the air will itch it for me. And then it just completely dies down. And then it'll be fine for a couple of days. And then it'll be itchy again for like half an hour or an hour. And I've not experienced that with any other tattoo. So thought I'd throw that one out there. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I will 100% do a video when this has healed in about 4-ish weeks or so. Just to show you guys, you know, how it healed, because I obviously want to be as transparent as possible. So I'm excited to see how this heals and then what it looks like in 6 months, a year, 2 years, 3 years, and what have you. I'm sure I will get asked if I would ever do my other hand, and yeah, I will, just because I want it to be even, because, you know, it looks a bit strange. But yeah, I will definitely get this palm tattooed if Luke wants to do that, because I don't know, I wouldn't want to tattoo me again, that's for sure. But I'm thinking for this one to get either a maple leaf, because I love autumn, right? I know that sounds super stupid, but I'm thinking either to get like a maple leaf or a lightning cloud, which would be like a cloud with lightning. Luke has done a couple of those before, I believe, so, you know, his own version or whatever. So I'm not completely decided, but it's not something I'm going to do this year. I need a break. And yeah, that's pretty much about it when it comes to this. Should we talk about my COVID experience? Who cares about that? I don't know. I just need to, oh my God, it was something. Because I have been, like I was saying, incredibly lucky. I've managed to sort of dodge it this whole time. And I kind of started to get a little bit cocky with it, if I could say that. Because I was like, well, I haven't had it now through this whole pandemic. You know, I don't think I'm ever going to get it. And it got me when I least expected it. Because I've been on holiday, I've been to London, I've been on like the tubes, public transport, and I've been completely okay. Obviously, I've been safe. I'm triple vaccinated. I just want to throw that out there as well. My immune system must be, you know, pretty good, kicking, fighting, and what have you. Oh no. A tattoo convention of all places, one of my favourite things to go to, screwed me over. And it's so weird because obviously I went with Tom and Carmi. They didn't catch it. And obviously me and Tom lived together. Tom stayed in this room for the whole time I had COVID. I was living in our bedroom because there was an ensuite, so I had a bathroom there. So we had separate bathrooms and all of that. So we were extremely cautious with everything because I didn't want him to get it. So on Monday the 11th, I woke up and I had a very dry, scratchy throat and it was quite painful. But then I thought, oh, it's probably because me and Tom had 2 fans blowing on us because it was very hot. So I thought, oh, the fans have dried my throat out. It will feel better in a few hours. Just, have a couple of drinks, eat something. It might, soothe my throat. Nah, the whole day I was like, oh man, my throat is awful. And then my eyes started to hurt, which was very, very strange. I was like, what's wrong with my eyes? I don't know. I felt like this is going to sound so weird, but I felt like I just needed to take my eyeballs out. You know, the nerves or whatever that's behind your eyeballs. I felt like I needed to squeeze those or something. Like they just needed a massage. I was like, what is going on? I've got really sore eyes. And then I was like, maybe I need to wear my glasses some more because I'm meant to wear glasses all the time, but I don't. And then the next morning I woke up and I was like, I still feel pretty rough, And my throat was still hurting. I was losing my voice at times. My eyes were still so painful. I was like, what is going on? And then I started to think, wait a minute, do I have COVID? I was like, nah, there's no way. There's absolutely no way because I could still taste things, I could still smell things, and I didn't feel at that time that unwell. I just felt like I had a cold coming, but there was like no snot. And then I started to cough a little bit and I was like, oh God. So then I took a test on Tuesday. Something in me was like, you've got to take a COVID test. So I took one and it came back negative. So I was like, okay, maybe it is just a cold coming. But normally when I get a cold, it starts off with a pressure headache and then my throat hurts, then the snot comes. But this was all very strange. So I was like, okay, maybe it's just a weird cold or flu or whatever. And then I took another test on the Wednesday morning. I think it was around about 6 a.m. And then the very faint line turned up. And I was like, no. So I was just like, oh God. And at this time, obviously I started showing illness signs on Monday. So I went up and woke Tom up. I was just socially distanced, woke Tom up. I was like, Tom, wake up, I've got COVID kind of thing. What should we do? And he was obviously half asleep. And I showed him the test and he was like, oh yeah, that's a faint line right there. I was like, I know. And he was like, okay, cool. I don't know. And then he fell back asleep. I was like, right, cool. I'll just wait until he wakes up for work kind of thing. So I went back downstairs. I just waited. And then when he woke up, we were just like, right, well, I have to live in that bedroom now. He's moving out. Not of the house, but into here. And then, yeah, that was it. And then I took another test on the Wednesday afternoon, evening time to see if it, the test got any darker, just to make sure that wasn't a false positive. The next test was a hard positive. And I was like, okay, cool. So this is my life for the next however many days. On the Wednesday, I started to feel even worse. And I was like, oh dear, what's going on here then? And then I started sneezing. That's when the snot officially come. TMI, sorry. I started to get extremely tired. I just had no energy. I didn't want to do anything. My appetite went out the window. It's still not okay, which obviously isn't, I don't know, the worst thing, I don't know. And yeah, I just didn't want to eat and I felt awful. And then that's when the coughing really, really started to come in and I was having coughing fits to the point where I couldn't breathe, because I was coughing so much, all this air was coming out and I couldn't get any air back in because I was still coughing. And yeah, the whole experience has just been awful. And then I lost my taste, but I didn't really lose my sense of smell. I did a little bit, but not completely. But my taste went, but it was weird because I knew, my mouth knew I was eating something sweet or savoury, but there was no flavour. And my taste is about 70% now, so the stuff still tastes a little bit weak, but it's almost completely, back to normal, thank goodness. And every now and then I still have, the odd coughing fit, but I tested negative on Saturday, so I was positive for, oh my goodness, 11 days. I just counted. In the UK, you can, after, I think it's 5 days, you can just go on about your life and just go outside. But like, no. I just, that's how I caught it, obviously, because someone was positive and was walking around a tattoo convention. But yeah, I'm over the worst of it now, so content will be back. And I hope and pray and touch wood that I never have to go through that again, because, oh my lord, it was not fun at all. And I hate to even think about how bad it would have been if I hadn't been triple vaccinated. And the other thing is, once you start to feel better, but you're still testing positive, you're kind of stuck in a room, right? So that really messes with your mental health as well. I was getting so bored, and I felt trapped, and I was stuck in the hottest room in the house during 40 degrees with COVID. I was miserable. I don't think I've ever been so miserable in my whole entire life, because there was no relief for the heat. There was no relief for my symptoms. I was taking paracetamol that was doing fuck all. Sounds so dramatic, but it was not fun. But anyway, onwards and upwards. I feel like I have done nothing but talk and talk and talk. I need to rest my voice now, because I like I said, I'm still kind of recovering from the COVID. I'm gonna go. I hope you're all well. I hope you're all feeling great. Life is treating you amazingly. And yeah, until my next video, stay safe, stay well. Goodbye.